Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's John. In my videos about vintage film cameras, I've often talked about fully automatic cameras, cameras that are completely manual, or some that have some automatic bits and pieces, but the majority of it is manual, etc. I'd like to talk this time about the Olympus 101, or as many of you will know it, the Olympus OM-88. Whereby it's a fully automatic camera, does absolutely everything for you, but with a small bit of tweaking you can actually make it fully manual as well. So let's jump straight in and take a look. So here we are, the Olympus OM-101, or as it was named in the majority of the rest of the world, the OM-88, sometimes called the Power Focus, but more on that in a moment. This is a bit of an unusual SLR in that it has all the features that you would expect. Obviously, it's single lens reflex. We can look through the viewfinder and out through the lens. It has interchangeable lenses. And so on and so forth. So it's pretty standard in all those respects, but there's a couple of unusual features that you don't often see. First of all, there's no option on the lens to focus. I'll show you how that's done in a moment. But basically, this is a fully automatic camera, and that includes the wind-on. As you'll see, there's no wind-on lever. It's automated. There's a motor inside that drives that. So let's sort of start at the beginning and just break it down for you. On the back, first of all, we've got our viewfinder. And then here we have a wheel that when the camera's turned on, this is what does the focusing of the lens. So whereas normally you would be used to turning a ring to focus, this is what they call power focus, and it will automatically change the lens based on how you spin the wheel. On top then we've got our power switch. As you can see at the moment it's set in the off position. We can turn it towards the check setting and it will give a tone to say that the battery is working. We then got the standard operating mode of P or program, which like I said to you, everything is fully automatic. And then we've got two settings here marked as adapter, both M and A. So I'm going to come back to those in a moment because that's where things get a little interesting. Hot shoe for a flash, frame count, so we're on S at the moment because there's no film in it, but once the film's in, it will automatically wind on to the first one, and every time you take a shot with the shutter release, you'll get a count to say how many shots you've got taken. Got a self-timer button, which is pretty standard. We basically press that, and then when we press the shutter button, we will get a count before the actual shutter fires, so that if we want to be in the photograph ourselves. We spin it around to the front. We have a backlight button here, which I'll explain more in a moment. We have our release for the lens. If I press the button, we can twist the lens and obviously replace it with a different type. The lens that's on this one is a 35 to 70 millimeter zoom lens. So as you can see here, I can zoom with this control to 35 millimeters to 70 millimeters, and that's then f3.5 at this end and f4.5 at this end. This is often known as a PF lens or power focal lens because it is compatible with the power focus feature of the OM-101. But this can be swapped for other lenses that use the Olympus OM mount, including the AF autofocus lenses and all the other ones as well. But obviously it's fully featured along with a PF lens. We also have this sort of configuration of electronic contacts here, and I'll explain again in a moment what these are for. On the bottom we have our mount for a tripod. We have the release to wind the film back into the camera, which would be done automatically when we reach the end, or if we choose to do it beforehand. Battery compartment. And it takes just 4 AAAs, which are obviously pretty standard batteries and are easy to get hold of still. Now, unfortunately, when I bought this, I bought it in good faith that it was in good condition and working. Unfortunately, when I received it, I didn't use it for quite a while. I basically took it out of the box, had a look, thought it was great, and put it on my shelf or in my display cabinet and left it sitting there. Unfortunately, when I actually came to use it then, I realised it's not functioning properly. And despite me attempting to get it working, so far I have been unable. So as you can see here, when I first opened up the battery cover, there's a lot of corrosion around the battery contacts. And I initially assumed that this was the problem. As you can see, inside the compartment as well is filthy. So I thought I'd give it a try cleaning it. So initially I used isopropyl alcohol. Because I know that that is something you can use on electronics safely. Just using a cotton bud, I've attempted to clean as much of the corrosion off as possible. It didn't work great. I mean, it certainly got a lot of rid of the dirt, but the actual corrosion, unfortunately, remained behind. So what I've basically done, looking on YouTube and other places for a bit of research, I've got hold of some white spirit vinegar. And again, using a cotton bud, I've attempted to clean the contacts. Not perfect, but as you can see, an awful lot cleaner than they were. And indeed, when I put the batteries in, the contact is made. The batteries are powering the camera, which they weren't initially. However, sorry, let's click that on. However, the battery test is failing. And when I do turn it to the on mode, I just get an error and beeps. So a bit of a great shame for me, but having said that, my own fault really. The seller has since been, well, it's disappeared off Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, it's just one of those things, unfortunately. I'll have to put it down to experience. But it's still a nice little camera in terms of looks, and I'm very proud to have it on display. And maybe I can get it working if I have a further fiddle with it, but for now, unfortunately, it's a rather pretty exhibit as opposed to a working camera. Now, I mentioned on the power switch here that we have two settings for an adapter, and the adapter actually did come with the camera. Here it is here. Small little device that basically fits to the camera, which I'll show you in a moment, and turns it into manual. So we have settings here for our aperture from f2 to f22, depending on which lens we've got fitted. And we have another dial, if you like, for our shutter speed from bulb to 2 seconds, right the way down, or up, whichever way you look at it, to 0.002 of a second. And so the way this works is we take our camera, so it fits on into these contacts, as you can see here. We just basically place it against it, and if I get a screwdriver quickly, or a coin, we can then, whoops, tighten that up. So now, as opposed to being fully automatic, the camera choosing both the shutter speed and the aperture based on the light conditions, etc., we can now switch to either fully manual or aperture priority, whereby we set the aperture and it will set the shutter speed accordingly. Because we've closed over the switch that opens the back door, we get a secondary switch here that will still open the back, as you can see inside. You'll see here we've got the contacts for DX film, because obviously it really requires that in order to function correctly. But other than that, it's quite the same as any other SLR. So there we go. Unfortunately, a very pretty paperweight, but yeah, I don't regret it. It was only £20 anyway. It's not like I spent a fortune, and who knows, maybe I'll get it working one day. Don't let it put you off Olympus cameras. They are absolutely superb. The whole OM series has got something to offer, some much more than others, but I'll be featuring more in future videos. So there you go. silly mistake on my part, but you live and learn, don't you? Many thanks for watching. Many thanks for everybody that comments, likes, subscribes, etc. I really do appreciate it. See you next time.